prior felony or a previous crime, that perhaps we can prosecute that.
Donald Trump's very own Christian spiritual advisor is getting a sweetheart plea deal to only go to prison for 6 months after he was caught trying to rape a minor. What are we talking about? We're taking child off the street? Like, what the f do you mean? Yeah, off the street for 6 months maximum.
It's lawfully allowed to happen. So
it's better if it's left up in the air what his positions are. I think personally, you can say anti-Israel shit. You can say that you're an anti-Zionist and like run with it in this moment, and I think it would be beneficial. That's his own calculation. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's good. But having said that, let's get to the press conference with the director of the FBI about how we're all going to get arrested.
Maybe in your next group, you'll get great support. Every American deserves to live in a community where they're not afraid of being mugged, murdered, robbed, raped, assaulted, or shot. And that's exactly what our administration is working to deliver. I didn't realize I was going to make this such a big factor in the administration. I didn't really campaign. I campaigned on crime. But I never thought we'd go into every city and take a really safe city that we've all been living with for years and make them safe. And now it's like a passion for me, and it's a passion for the people behind me. So I didn't get elected. I did get elected for crime, but I didn't get elected for what we're doing. This is many, many steps above. And I want to thank Stephen Miller, who's right back in the audience right there. I'd love to have him. I love watching him on television. I'd love to have him come up and explain his true feelings, but maybe not his truest feelings. That might be going a little bit too far. But Stephen, thank you for doing an unbelievable job. And the people of this country love you, I'll tell you, and they love what you say about crime and stopping crime. So now I'd like to ask Director Patel to say a few words, and then Pam and Todd also. And I just want to congratulate them. This is an amazing thing, and we're just at the start. We're going to go into other cities that we're not talking about purposely. We're getting ready to go in. And when they go in, like Cash as an example told me that people didn't even know. 5 months ago, they went into Chicago, and they started doing a lot of work in Chicago. And we brought the numbers down a little bit. And but that really was just preparatory work for what we're going to do with the surge. We're going to have a surge of strong, good people, patriots, and they're going to go in, they straighten it all out. So a lot of these cities we're already working on, but we don't do it with a big flavor. But in a little while, you're going to see some numbers that you're not going to believe. And I think you'll probably start with Memphis, because I'm hearing the numbers are much quicker than we even thought possible. But again, D.C. it speaks for itself. Chicago is going to be okay. We're going to save Chicago. And I told you, and I told them,
and we're going to do a
very respected man, the head of the Union Pacific, said, "Sir, save Chicago. It can be saved." And the way he said it, it was like,
we're going to do a blitzkrieg, like Stephen Miller's favorite.
What he wants, and that's what we're going to do.
Favorite army used to. That's right.
And we're going to make them essentially crime-free, like other countries have crime-free.
It's a big surge.
If you go all over the world, you go to the world, you hear Afghanistan, and you hear all these different places. Our crime in certain cities is worse than anything they can even imagine. And we're not going to have that any longer. It's going to stop, and it stops right here. Cash,
only
please.
White refugees allowed? What is this? Breaking news, President Trump is considering an overhaul of the U.S. refugee program that will favor mostly white people. Documents show. Oh, Stephen Miller is going crazy mode.
People not only defend the homeland, but crush violent crime. You tasked us with our great partners at the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to start making arrests and bring prosecutions and safeguard our cities. And you said it. This is just the beginning. In just 7 months, I hope the media takes a look at every one of these
Capitol Hill police were called to investigate a swastika displayed inside of a Hill GOP office. The flag appeared to be pinned to a cubicle wall behind the Representative Dave Taylor Stavers. Taylor called it vile and deeply inappropriate and is investigating it.
Operation Summer Heat, which the FBI architected to go after violent criminals. And in just a 3-month span, you had 8,700 arrests of violent criminals. You had 2,200 firearms seized off the streets permanently to safeguard our communities. You had 421 kilograms of fentanyl seized. Just to put that in perspective, that's enough to keep 55 million Americans alone.
They've literally seized less drugs overall. Their drug apprehensions are down because the FBI is actually working on interior deportations right now, interior removals alongside the Department of Homeland Security. So all of the numbers that they're posting here are
historic
actually
for a
dog
four-year
shit.
Presidency. You did that in 7 months because you let good cops be cops, and you partnered us with the right people, the Department of Justice, to put the handcuffs on and bring him to court and put him in prison. And if that weren't enough, when you look at the year, for the entire 7-month period that we're talking about here, if you look at the past 4 years of the Biden administration, 16,000, 17,000, 15,000, 15,000. That's the number of arrests year over year of violent felons in this country for the Biden administration. Mr. President, in 7 months, you have 28,600 arrests of violent felons in just 7 months alone because of your leadership and the dedication of the men and women at the FBI who want to go out there and do the job they were prevented from doing because that department used to be weaponized and politicized. And this is what happens when you take out the fangs of weaponization. This number is historic by every metric. 28,000 people have been arrested, violent felons alone. And then when you go over there and look at some of these charts, if you don't mind, I'll just hop over here. Look at the metrics for not just violent crime, but the homeland. Mr. President, during your administration, the FBI...
It's pretty funny because he's just so ass at this. He's so ass at this. Bro, the FBI could be doing an incredible job of like violent criminal apprehension right now. And even Donald Trump's biggest dick riders would listen to Kash Patel and go, I don't trust him. He's doing it. He's doing it again. He is the worst guy for the job. And you know what the best part about this is? Donald Trump thinks he's awesome. Donald Trump literally does not consider Kash Patel to be one of the worst people in the administration.
National security mission, Mr. President, your leadership has never been stronger. We have gone after espionage activities against our main counterparts in China, Russia, and Iran. In China alone, we've had over a 50% increase in espionage arrests alone in prosecution. In Iran, we have had a 50% increase, again, in espionage cases. And in Russia, we've had a 33% increase in espionage cases alone. When it comes to counterterrorism,
Kash Patel's a dumbass. Why are you so charitable?
we have 125 arrests this year.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
Year to date
I'm saying not only Kash Patel, not only is Kash Patel a dumbass, but he's also a horrible communicator, and he just always looks like he's flubbing. Even if he had something positive to show, which he doesn't, he would have a very hard time communicating that positive force.
You already have 252 arrests, 52 arrests of violent cyber criminals who are stealing from senior citizens, or
I don't understand why you think I'm being charitable to Kash Patel, where I'm saying he's the least trustworthy person.
These programs are record. And two of the things I'll finish with that I'm most proud of, Mr. President, this FBI. Fentanyl. As you know, it's a scourge that is killing our youth, 100,000 plus a year. To date, the FBI has seized 1,900 kilograms of fentanyl. That's enough lethal doses to 127 million Americans alone, to date. And if that weren't enough, Mr. President, you said we have to go after the worst of the worst. And you empowered our Department of Justice, our Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and the Deputy Director at the FBI, led the charge, not just on summer heat, but he also led the charge to the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. These people have been on the run for years. And in 7 months, you captured not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 of the FBI's most top 10 fugitives. 4. And just to put that in perspective, Mr. President, the Biden administration captured 4 in all of 4 years. You're on 7, and we're going to get to 10. We're going to get to 10 of 10. This includes a lady who murdered her 6-year-old.
Notice how he doesn't mention fentanyl deaths going down? Yeah, fentanyl deaths went down under Biden because they actually did all of those like safe needle and rehabilitation initiatives, ironically enough. Not because of like drug apprehension.
That destroyed our communities. And you came in and with a mandate said, go after the worst of the worst. This is just the beginning. This is what happens when you let good cops be good cops at the FBI. Mr. President, I just want to thank you for your incredible leadership, our brave partnership with prosecutors who know how to bring cases and make sure these arrests stick. And that's what the Attorney General and the Deputy Attorney General have led the charge across this country. Because arrests without prosecutions are meaningless. We are deterring criminals from doing this activity. We are preventing criminals from coming into America, and we are absolutely crushing violent crime and federal reform and defending this homeland, sir. And not to mention, I almost forgot this one. It took you, sir, 2 weeks to get the Abbey Gate bomber. Joe Biden had 4 years to look for him. You got him in 2 weeks, thanks to the interagency effort by the FBI and the CIA, went to Pakistan, and now 13 brave warriors who were sentenced to murder because of disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal. They have justice, their families have a peace of mind, and we're going to continue to find the others, Mr. President. On behalf of the FBI, sir, I just want to thank you.
Thank you very much, Gage. Great job. Very good. Very impressive. Pam, would you like to say?
President Trump, the men and women of law enforcement say two things to me repeatedly. First, you have taken the handcuffs off them and let them do their jobs, and you let cops be cops. That's why all this is happening. The director, the deputy director are working around the clock. All of these great men and women in the FBI, they have families at home, and they are working during a government shutdown right now. Many of them have small children. Many of them, I was talking to an agent this morning, many of them have babies at home, and they are working around the clock to not only keep our country, but our world safe. And that's what Operation Summer Heat did. Thank you, Director, and to the Deputy Director for everything you did on behalf of the Department of Justice, and you're going to continue to keep doing. And they set this we're doing in Memphis. You're going to hear a lot more about that, our joint task force next week, but they set the stage for Memphis. And last night alone in Memphis, there were almost 70 arrests. There were 12 guns seized. And there was a 70-year-old man arrested as a result of our operation in Memphis who raped a child under the age of 3. That one case makes everything we're doing worthwhile.
Dude, so of course. Dude, this is so stupid. Of course, like, child rapers are supposed to be arrested. And they were being arrested under the Brandonian leadership as well. What are we talking about, dude? This kind of shit is so dumb where it's like, wow, look at this one heinous crime that we actually brought the criminal to justice on. It's like, yeah, that's your job, dumbass. That's a normal, constant thing that you should be doing. Okay? What do you mean? Oh my God, I can't believe you brought a rapist to justice. Like, yeah, no shit. No shit. That's your job. That's the reason why you're getting paid billions. That's the reason why there's billions of dollars of funding on this stuff. Jesus Christ, dude.
Ruining a community.
The problem here is how much you are exhausting the resources that law enforcement has at the federal level, at the local level, on immigration detention and mass deportations, interior deportations. That is ridiculous. Focus on this shit. Focus on the stuff that you're supposed to. Also, obviously, when a Republican's talking about like how they're apprehending child rape, is like, okay, well, there's a couple in the room, you know? Have you thought about that? No. Your administration is forever tarred, forever scarred by your active, deliberate cover-up on Jeffrey Epstein and his connections to the financial elite and also specifically to Donald Trump, a child rapist, a serial child rapist sex trafficker who was the second in command of the most prolific known child rapist sex trafficker, leniency, and moved to a facility where she's getting extra attention and extra liberties because she's playing ball with the administration in participating in the cover-up of the Epstein files. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And the people that are doing this cover-up are Donald Trump's own lawyers, including the Attorney General. The Attorney General, Pam Bondi, was a lawyer for Donald Trump. The Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, also was a defense attorney for Donald Trump.
It's a mandate, so I know the American people thank you for that. In terms of the guns that have been taken off the street, do you have a number of how many guns were taken away from someone that had a prior felony or a previous crime that perhaps we can prosecute that?
Donald Trump's very own Christian spiritual advisor is getting a sweetheart plea deal to only go to prison for 6 months after he was caught trying to a minor. What are we talking about? We're taking child rape off the street? Like, what the f do you mean? Yeah, off the street for 6 months, maximum.
It's lawfully allowed to happen. So every single one of those guns were taken off.
And not including the FBI, all of the other agencies. ATF alone since January 20th has removed over 25,000 illegal guns off our streets just since President Trump's been in office.
Mr. President, if I could follow up on that, could there be any further conversation to have national concealed carry apply to actual DC? Like if you had a driver's license in Texas and you had a permit, of course you can drive.
Well, as you know, they've been talking about that for a long time. It's an interesting question. A lot of people feel strongly both ways, but we are talking about that, Brian. Thank you.
Mr. President, on Venezuelan boats, I want to ask you, why not have the
burping in
Coast
the
Guard
mic.
stop them, which it is empowered
I had
by
to show
law
you what
to
good
do?
microphoning
This way
looks
you can confirm who's on the boat and ensure that they're doing what you suspect.
Because we've been doing that for 30 years, and it has been totally ineffective. They have faster boats.
Sean Hannity would never.
Some of these boats are seriously, I mean, they're world-class speedboats, but they're not faster than missiles. But we've been trying to do that for years, and so much of the drugs, 25, 30% would come in through the seas. Right now we have, I would say, none coming in through the seas. In fact, I don't know about the fishing industry. If you want to go fishing, a lot of people aren't deciding to even go fishing. We've almost totally stopped it by sea. Now we'll stop it by land.
What's the next
But
step?
it never worked. It never worked when you did it in a very politically correct manner.
What's the next step in this war on cartels, and are you considering options, are you considering strikes on land?
Well, I don't want to tell you exactly, but we are certainly looking at land now because we've got the sea very well under control. We've had a couple of days where there isn't a boat to be found. And that, I view that as a good thing, not a bad thing. But we had tremendous amounts coming in by boats, by very expensive boats. You know, they have a lot of money, very fast, very expensive boats that were pretty big. And the way you look at it is every boat that we knock out, we save 25,000 American lives. So every time you see a boat and you feel badly, you say, wow, that's rough. It is rough, but if you lose 3 people and save 25,000 people, these are people that are killing our population. Every boat is saving 25,000 lives, and you can see it. The boats get hit, and you see that fentanyl all over the ocean. It's like floating in bags. It's all over the place, and it's a tremendous we're saving tremendous
Yeah, I can't get
amounts
over the
of lives.
fucking ugly ass tie either, bro. I know it's really it's gross. It's highlighter colored. It's fat.
About having some distaste for Boston recently. Is this one of those cities that you might be looking into, and can you give us a hint about other cities that you might be?
You're saying
federal
for where?
funds?
For where?
For Boston.
Yeah, well, Boston has a bad mayor who at least is a reasonable IQ person. You know, most of them are low IQ. But, and they're so bad. I mean, what's going on in Chicago is just, you'd think the guy would say, hey, look, we have a problem, Mr. President. Could you come in and straighten it out? We could have that done in
Mayor
a month
Boston's
if we had
Asian.
their cooperation.
If you want to
gonna be
know,
done anyway.
like how Donald Trump categorizes people's IQ levels, that's why he said she's an average IQ person. If it's a black politician, Donald Trump will say low IQ. Chicago's mayor is black.
To do that,
Just so
with
you
FIFA.
understand exactly what's going on.
So if we think that
I don't
LA
wanna
is going to
hear
be
from
bad, or we
anybody
think,
being like,
that
"Oh,
applies
dude,
a
how
little
dare
bit to
you?
the
He calls everybody low IQ." Like, no. This is 1,000%.
I
Look,
think there's any reason
whether you want to make a bigger deal out of it or not doesn't fucking matter to me. It's clear that that is what he's saying. Okay, it's clear.
Thank you. And then Director
It's so
Patel,
consistent
there's been so many
of a
conspiracy
pattern.
theories swirling around about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Do you have any updates for us, especially in light of all the online content that everyone's been talking about?
The only thing we deal with at the FBI and the Department of Justice is facts, and we delivered in record speed a manhunt to capture Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin in 33 hours. And if you put that in perspective to Luigi Mangione,
Not-
with a Boston
not your
model,
best
they
moment,
took them 5
King.
days and a police officer lost their life. in the
Not your
manhunt.
best moment,
We are
King.
running out absolutely every single lead, and the best thing we can do to honor my friend Charlie Kirk's life is to make sure
In
that
Valhalla.
everyone involved is prosecuted to the full extent of the law, and that's what we're focused on, investigating the facts, not trading in conspiracy theories.
Okay.
Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you.
In light of China's export curbs on rare earths, do you view India as a reliable partner going forward? And are you planning to meet Prime Minister Modi in Malaysia? Are you open to talks in terms of
Yeah,
trade?
sure. He's a friend of mine. We have a great relationship. He just said that 2 days ago, as you know. We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia.
Yeah, ironically enough, it's probably the clearest indication that you might not be the smartest person if you are hyper focusing on IQ in general and you constantly obsess over IQ, you constantly
In the
talk about
first
low
week,
IQ this, low IQ
And they're going
that.
into the 4th year.
You might be
And
what is
I want
referred
to see
to
it
as low
stop.
IQ
So
if
I
you
was
do
not
that all the
happy
time.
that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing. You know, that is relatively easy compared to what we just did over the last week in the Middle East. Middle East was 3,000 years and we got it done. This is 3 years, and I think we'll get it done. I think that President Putin, I think he wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right? And it's. I think it's hurting the process.
King.
Yeah, please.
Mr. President, thank you.
Why would you say that?
Why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the
Because
alleged?
I can't do that.
I love
I
regime
authorize
change.
for
They
two
got a
reasons,
lot of
really.
oil.
Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back, but that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Does the CIA have authority to take out Maduro?
Oh, I don't want to answer a question like that. That's a ridiculous question for me to be given. Not really a ridiculous question, but wouldn't it be a ridiculous question for me to answer? But I think Venezuela is feeling heat, but I think a lot of other countries are feeling heat too. We're not going to let this country, our country, be ruined because other people want to drop, as you say, their worst. They have given us their worst. They've loaded up our country with prisoners, with mentally ill people that are seriously ill, criminally ill, and we're not going to take it. And so, I mean, it's just one of those things. And I can tell you, we've taken care of the sea. There's nobody, and we're watching. We're watching. And if we see it, we'll save it. Yeah, please.
On the ships, though, sir, there are Republicans and Democrats up on the Hill concerned that in the briefings they've gotten about those attacks, they're not necessarily getting information about who was on them and what exactly was on those ships. Can you ensure that
but they are given information that they were loaded up with drugs, and that's the thing that matters. When they're loaded up with drugs, they're fair game. And every one of those ships they're not ships, they're boats, they're speedboats. They're extremely fast, record-setting type speedboats. They cost a lot of money, and they have a lot of money because they're drug sellers. But they know one thing, and they all have the same thing in common. There's drug dust. They call it drug dust. They call it fentanyl dust all over the boat after those bombs go off. And you can take along.
Attack them, though, that they're
We know before. We know when they go out. We know we have much information about each boat that goes out. Deep, strong information. Yeah, please.
Sir, you're going to have Vladimir Zelensky here this week. What is your message at this stage of the war for him? And shy of tomahawks.
To who is that?
For Zelensky.
Yeah.
And shy of tomahawks for Ukraine. Are you considering other options, and will you speak with Vladimir Putin about
No, we're looking at other options. We are. President Zelensky's coming in. I'm not a fan of the war. I'm not a fan of the way it started. It should have never happened. It wouldn't have started if I were president. The election was rigged. And because of that, we lost a lot of lives have been lost because of that war. Not American lives, but if I can save a lot of lives, that's why I'm in it. I want to save lives. I've had 8 wars. The Prime Minister of Pakistan got up the other day, said so beautifully, he says, you saved millions of lives. He told that to a group of people right in this office. He said the president saved millions of lives. And I think what he's referring to is the fact that that would have been with India, a nuclear war. That was getting very close. 7 planes, they don't talk about it, but 7 aircraft were shot down. In fact, we have the new ambassador to India right here. They're well represented. You better represent us, not them, okay? But Sergio's going to do a great job. He's going to do a great job. But no, we'll be talking about the war with him, and we'll be talking about, they want to go offensive. I'll make a determination on that, but they would like to go offensive, you know that, and we'll have to make a determination.
Can I follow up the question? Given you have the FBI Director and Attorney General here today, Jim Jordan has asked Jack Smith to appear in front of the House Judiciary.
You mean deranged Jack? He's a deranged individual, yeah.
Deranged Jack.
Well, they should. I'm surprised it takes so long. We're talking about violent crime. What about the crime against a political opponent. That's what we have to talk about, too.
Jordan would like to understand the full extent to which the Biden-Harris Justice Department weaponized federal law enforcement. What do you think the committee will find out, Mr. Smith?
I think it was the worst weaponization of a political opponent in the history of the world, let alone this country. And I hope that everybody's, they're involved in it. I'm not. I'm the one that had to suffer through it and ultimately win. But what they did was criminal. Deranged Jack Smith, in my opinion, is a criminal. And I noticed his interviewer was, I think that was Weissman. And I hope they're going to look into Weissman, too. Weissman's a bad guy. And he had somebody in Lisa, who was his puppet, worked in the office really as the top person. And I think that she should be looked at very strongly. There was tremendous criminal activity having to do. If we don't have fair elections in this country, we're not going to have a country. And I've said it from the beginning, fair elections and borders. And we need also fair press, because if you don't have fair press, it's very tough. And we've got the strongest border of anybody.
That's why we made it illegal to report from the Pentagon unless you sign a loyalty pledge to the Pentagon.
People into our country legally, but 0 people. But, you're talking about a different subject. You're talking about political crime. They have committed
Remember, when he says fair press, he means like glazing him, okay? That's what he means, obviously. He's like, why won't the press glaze
all
me?
These people. And I'm allowed to find out. I'm allowed to, I'm, in theory, the chief law enforcement officer. But I have a very good, talented group.
You're not.
This is about something else.
No, not to get all fucking institutionalist here, but you're literally not. As a matter of fact, the Attorney General is supposed to be a totally separate office. This is ridiculous. No, you are not the chief law enforcement officer. You are the president. You are the commander-in-chief of the military. You are not supposed to be tasked with law enforcement, domestic law enforcement affairs. What the fuck?
He settled the lawsuit. I'll say, give me X dollars, right? And I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit, and now I won. It sort of looks bad. I'm suing myself, right? So I don't know, but that was a lawsuit that was very strong, very powerful. They raided illegally my house in Florida, Mar-a-Lago.
He said it's true,
they
so
went
it's true
through
now. Don't you understand? Democratic and Republican
the
parties
drawers
both
of my
understand.
young son.
Yeah. I must
they
have
went
missed
through
that
all
point.
of the
I must have missed the point where the Constitution clearly
She walked in,
dictated
she
that we
said,
are
"Wow,
actually a
what
nation
happened?"
of monarchs.
Because she's very
and
meticulous,
not,
and this wasn't so meticulous.
And the framers were
And
not
she looked
literally
into the
fighting
drawers
against
and she
that.
saw everything a
It's like
mess.
some of the most defensible aspects of the founders, for the record, who were comprised of slavers and people who were anti-slavery as well, but mostly we're having a spirited debate on this issue. This is the one aspect that they were absolutely right on, which is that we are not a fucking monarchy. And Donald Trump is quite literally eroding some of the most defensible aspects of the American Constitution, some of the best aspects of the American Constitution, whether it be fucking free speech or due process or no kings. He is just straight up taking away what remains of like the good parts.
That didn't even get in, all because of Democrat obstruction. So John Thune did a great job. I must have signed 200 into the administration. We're just about caught up. It's amazing. And so compliments to John. He had to do some things that were very tough to do that he didn't want to do, but he was forced to do it by the Democrats. And as far as the shutdown's concerned, this is a Democrat Schumer shutdown. And he's trying to do it to get relevance back into the party because he's a loser. I've known him all his life. He's always been sort of a loser, but an intelligent one. But I think he's losing IQ points with time. I think that happens. I hope it hasn't happened with me. I know if it did, you guys will let me know about it very quickly.
Question on violent crime, sir. Here in D.C., a judge has given the 2 teenagers that beat up ex-Doge staffer Big Balls probation.
It's incredible.
And no jail time. Is this justice?
Jeanine Pirro is doing a fantastic job, and she is beside herself because you have these radical left judges that they beat the hell out of this guy. And there was many people against this one guy who was really trying to protect his girlfriend. He didn't want to hood it over the door but they really beat him up badly. That just happened, right? Yes. Wow, that's terrible. I think the judge should be ashamed of himself. That's a big problem. You know, they can do their job and then they go into a court and the people are protected by these, I don't know where they come from. Where do these people come from? Where do the judges come from? I want to compliment on behalf of Pam and Todd and all of us because Cash, I think that Jeanine has done a fantastic job. And the case I heard was like flawless. It's a flawless case.
When you do
they have them on tape. They have everything.
Big balls.
And then the judge gives them little probation. These are rough guys, and they're young, and if that happens, they're going to grow up. They're going to be real bad. They're going to cause a lot of problems. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
So, Sergey Bohr has just gotten back from India.
Right.
What were the conversations like with Prime Minister Modi and the other?
I think they were great. He reported to me that you're great. He's a great man.
When he says if they grow up, by the way?
That he loves Trump. Now, I don't know if the word love, I don't want you to take that any different. I don't want to destroy his political career, okay? But you have to understand, I've watched India for years. It's an incredible country. And every single year you'd have a new leader. I mean, some would be in there for a few months. And this was year after year after year. And my friend has been there now for a long time. And he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It started. You know, you can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon. And all we want from President Putin is stop this. Stop killing Ukrainians and stop killing Russians, because he's killing a lot of Russians.
Stop killing Ukrainians.
It doesn't make him look good. It's a war that he should have won in 1 week, and he's now going into his 4th year. That does not make this big so-called war machine look good. But he could make a settlement. We're willing to settle. I thought we had a deal. The hatred of the two leaders is it's an obstacle. It's an obstacle. There's no question about it. But I thought we had a deal 2 months ago. Who would think I created peace in the Middle East and can't get the two guys to settle? But I think we'll get them. But if India doesn't buy oil, it makes it much easier. And they're not going to buy it. They assured me they will. Within a short period of time, they will not be buying oil from Russia. And they'll go back to Russia after the war's over. Jennifer?
On the shutdown, sir, are FBI officials being paid right now? Are all the FBI employees being paid? And are all the
Well, that's what I understand. I hope so.
Thanks to you, thanks to your great work, Mr. President. The 1811 special agents at the FBI are going to receive their paychecks.
Got a lot of people paid, actually. We got the people that we want paid, okay? And we want the FBI paid, we want the military paid. We got the people that we want paid. And I'll tell you, the Democrats, they don't talk about this. You know, we're getting rid of programs that we didn't like, but that were negotiated in, but we didn't like. We're terminating those programs, and they're going to be terminated on a permanent basis. And it's thousands of people, and it's billions of dollars. We're getting rid of a lot of things that we never wanted because of the fact that they made this stupid move. And they don't want to talk about it. You know, they have their day coming up. I hear very few people are going to be there, by the way. But they have their day coming up, and they want to have their day in the sun. But they should really make a deal. So what we're doing, I mean, they call him Darth Vader, but he's actually a very nice person, Russell Vogt. But Russell Vogt is really terminating tremendous numbers of Democrat projects. There's
in a normal universe, with a competent leadership on the Democrat side, they would literally go crazy over this. They would be running this as a soundbite.
Has worked 20 years to get. It's terminated. Tell him it's terminated, Jennifer.
Please,
right.
I'm begging Democrats to please use this. Please, he's giving a gift.
Absolutely,
he believes he literally is like, this guy is a villain, and I love it.
Today.
We're doing villainous shit. We're doing all the bad shit.
I almost hate to talk about it. But they're digging. They're actually digging. There are areas where they're digging and they're finding a lot of bodies. Then they have to separate the bodies. You wouldn't believe this. And some of those bodies have been in there a long time.
Cutting your medication,
and some of them are under
handout.
rubble. They have to remove rubble. But there are graves, and some are in tunnels that died in tunnels that are way down under the earth, and the tunnels are like 3 feet. Can you believe it? 3 feet high. They lived like this for a long period of time. It's a horrible atrocity. At the same time, we, meaning Israel, but I knew everything they were doing pretty much. I knew most of the things they were doing, but they've killed probably 70,000 of these people, Hamas. And I said, it's time now. So we'll see what happens. We'll also see what happens. Your next question is going to be the weapons. We want the weapons to be given up, sacrificed, and they've agreed to do it. Now they have to do it. And if they don't do it, we'll do it.
We had the head of CENTCOM today suggests that Hamas needs to hurry up and disarm and follow your comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
That it was the head of CENTCOM saying that. Is that not a signal to Hamas, to the rest of the world, that at some point the U.S. military may more directly engage?
We won't need the U.S. military. We won't need it.
Why not just you?
Because we're very much involved in it. If we weren't involved, there wouldn't be peace. If we didn't destroy the nuclear capability of Iran, that deal would have never happened for two reasons. The Arab nations would not have felt bold enough to do it because you have a very powerful, at that time, Iran. It's not powerful anymore between what Israel and us did, because, the attack was, if you look at it, we helped them very much. They will be the first to tell you, including shooting down thousands of drones that were coming into Israel. We shot them down. We were shooting them down like it was target practice, but we shot down thousands of drones and missiles also going into Israel. But between what we did to Iran that way with the, conventional, we will call it, and what see that beautiful plane, that B-2, I noticed it on the desk. I always thought it was beautiful, but I never understood it. Now I understand it. It took in hundreds of thousands of bombs in the form of two, but hundreds of thousands of pounds of bombs. And every single bomb hit perfectly. Then they sent Tomahawks in. They sent 30 Tomahawks on top of it. And that was totally, CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't as bad as Trump said, because I said obliterated. Obliterated is not a strong enough word, actually. And you saw the Atomic Energy Commission came out and said the word obliteration is very, very, think of it. They came in under potential fire. They entered Iran airspace late at night, in the dark, no moon. The moon was low for a reason. What time we picked it. Couldn't see anything. And they hit every target, and they weren't hit. Nobody saw that plane. That plane is stealth. Nobody saw it. The problem with that is it may be stealth today, but tomorrow it won't be. And we just ordered about 20 brand new B-2 bombers. It's unbelievable as a weapon. I know Putin, when I was riding with him in Alaska, we passed a lot of them. And he said, that really did the trick. I said, yeah, it did. It's amazing. The flying wing.
But you still see no reason for the U.S. military to get involved in Gaza?
No, I don't see that. No, I think we're going to handle it very well. We'll be helping Israel. But we have other countries that are now. We signed, many countries signed. And many of those countries relatively are very strong military powers. And Hamas has no support. See, Hamas had the support of Iran, and now Iran says, don't get us involved.
Yeah.
The last time they got them involved didn't work out too well. So they used to have the support of Iran. Today, Iran they're trying to survive.
It's very strange watching him maneuver through this, because on the one hand, he's like, we got to bomb Iran, it's good, and we killed Iran, and we did the best. But also on the other hand, whenever asked about Hamas directly, he's like, they're doing a good job. They're doing, some might say, the best job in extracting bodies. It's not easy. Lots of bodies under the rubble. They're keeping the peace. They're dealing with violent drug criminals like the way we want to deal with it. Like, it's so strange to watch him navigate this discourse.
Well, you're in one now. Look, we have 100% tariff. If we didn't have tariffs, we would be exposed as being a nothing. We would have no defense. They've used tariffs on us, but we've never had anybody sitting in that chair that
for homophobia. That's
felt
awesome.
The need to do it, and they've allowed us to be $37 trillion in debt, et cetera, et cetera. Tariffs are a very important tool for our defense, for our national security. If we don't have tariffs, we're not going to have national security. As an example, if you look at Pakistan and Iran, I told them I was in the midst of negotiating a trade deal with Iran, and Pakistan was going to be in line. And because of tariffs, they all want to negotiate much differently. We're making a good deal. And then I heard that they're shooting at each other. And I said during one of my conversations, are you guys going to go to war? Two nuclear powers. We are thinking about, I said, here's the deal. You go to war, I'm going to put a 200% tariff. I'm going to stop you from doing any business in the United States. I said it to both of them. Within 24 hours, the war ended. That would have been a nuclear war. And again, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, who was here 2 weeks ago, said that man saved many millions of lives in front of a whole group of people because he thought it was going to be war. But when it came to war or having to pay massive taxes,
I don't think he meant Iran and Pakistan. I think he meant India and Pakistan. He's just a fucking idiot.
Not only
Even though Iran and Pakistan have had their bouts as well, I don't think Trump is talking about liberation front. You know, I think he means India and Pakistan.
didn't understand tariffs. It's also made us very
He's just
rich.
a fucking idiot.
We have a big case coming up in the Supreme Court, and I will tell you, that's one of the most important cases in the history of our country. Because if we don't win that case, we will be a...
No, he doesn't. He probably doesn't even know about the border clash between Afghanistan and Pakistan. He's not talking about that.
I don't even know if survivable is...
He said it would have been nuclear war. He's not talking about Iran and
We're going
Pakistan.
to be the most powerful economic country in the world. And all we're doing is using them as a defense against what took place for many years. China would charge us
I
tariffs.
can't believe we're going back and forth on this. This dumb fuck said he like ended a war between Albania and Azerbaijan, okay? Or not even Azerbaijan. He said Albania and like Armenia or some shit. So he's out of his fucking mind. He doesn't know anything. Yeah, Azerbaijan and Albania. Albania and Azerbaijan. They fought so much, ended the wars, 7 of them, now 8, counting. But who's counting? Who's counting? I've ended like 20 wars now.
We've made a lot of good friends, too. Tariffs are so important to our national security. If we don't have tariffs, we don't have national security. Our country would suffer a level that, because they use so strongly on us. As an example, the European Union. They won't take our cars. They won't take our agriculture. They won't take anything. But
yeah, I wonder why. Because they have fucking sovereignty. They have food safety standards. And they have road standards. They have road safety standards. They have car safety standards. We don't make vehicles for them to purchase. And then we fucking complain. We make food that is poison. We make cars that are monstrosities. And then we fucking complain that they're not buying it. Yeah, no shit, dude.
$650 billion they pay us. And we've evened it out. It's really a good thing to see. And you have to understand, they've all signed. Japan, South Korea.
No, they have allergies
South
to
Korea,
weakness.
$350 billion up front. Japan, $650 billion. And they've all agreed to it. They're all happy. But before, it was a total ripoff. And if we don't have the use of tariffs, we have no national security. This country will have no financial security, will not have national security. And the people that brought the lawsuit are people that are aligned with foreign nations that are now being treated fairly as opposed to just ripping us off and ripping us asunder. So, but if we are not allowed to use what other people use against us, there's no defense. It'll be a disaster for America. That's why I think I'm going to go to the Supreme Court to watch it. I've not done that, and I had some pretty big cases. I think it's one of the most important cases ever brought, because we will be defenseless against the world.
Ripping us asunder is a porn.
You'll go to the tariff case?
Did you have one? Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask you about the Georgia Senate race. I know it's very early, but there's several Republicans in that field that are vying for your endorsement.
A lot of good people in that field.
Yes.
I know all of them, actually. I haven't made a decision on that, but you have some very good people in the Georgia Senate race.
Well, Governor Trump has endorsed...
No, I know. The governor has, and he's spoken to me about it a lot. He likes that candidate a lot. And I understand that. I haven't made a decision yet. But I'm following that race very carefully. I think it's very important for Georgia to get a real senator, because the senator they have now is a horrible senator. He allows all the crime, all the borders. You have open borders. I mean, his whole philosophy is a disaster. That's not representative of the people of Georgia. I know the people of Georgia. I won Georgia 3 times, but they say twice. Okay, I won it very big the last time. And I won it big the first time. And I won it big the second time, but we had criminals that didn't allow, I hope they're going to go into that. I hope they go into the votes which are being stored in Fulton County and take a real look at those votes, okay? Because I won it the second time too. But I know Georgia very well. I love Georgia. Those people are great, and they deserve a good senator, because the man they have now is a weak, ineffective person. Okay.
Mr. President,
New
Jersey and Virginia.
President, I wonder what you make
deal.
By the way, you won Georgia 3 times. Just
Yeah, I agree. Do you agree with me?
I
And
do.
he's the media.
For someone that
He's the
spends
media.
a lot of time in
he's the
Georgia, I
media.
believe.
He's Marjorie Taylor Greene's fuck buddy, dude. And also notoriously so alcoholic that his face explodes like a balloon half the goddamn time.
Newt, you agree with us? Good. Otherwise, I'd have him dismissed immediately from the room. You know, his wife, as you know, is becoming an ambassador to a great country, Callista. So congratulations. And we're going to take a picture.
Callista,
And,
my
the only reason I'm doing it, he
fucking
speaks so well of
my
me.
Visco queen,
He said,
okay,
"I'll go down
Callista,
as
the
greatest
Photoshop
president
queen
in history."
of
And then he
Instagram.
blew it. He said, "I'm not sure if I put him above Washington or Lincoln." So I'm not that happy about that, dude.
I've got a question about the weaponization of the DOJ. The media often says your department is weaponizing
Yeah,
the DOJ.
yeah.
I
That's
love
the
that
opposite.
this is the
There's
only
opposite.
guy that
Todd, you
speaks
represented
nowadays in the
President
White
Trump,
House, by
probably
the way.
Greatest weaponization.
It's just
of
the only
DOJ by
motherfucker.
Alvin Bragg. You know firsthand, if you can describe what you saw under the Biden administration and how they weaponized the DOJ.
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to describe what happened in those last 4 years against President Trump. Alvin Bragg, a local prosecutor, his office staffed by somebody from New Jersey. Jack Smith picked as a special counsel, staffs his entire
Bro
office with DOJ
has
prosecutor.
answered, bro has asked 4 fucking questions, bro. Bro has asked every question in that room. It's fucking nutty. We have the dumbest dick riders commanding the conversation. Any kind of journalism that you're supposed to get from this is always coming from dick eaters in that room. From the largest dick eaters in that room. It's always like, Mr. President, why are you so handsome? Why is your dick so fat? Why are the Democrats so jealous of your fat cock? What the fuck?
Eerily silent about what happened for the past 3 years. I mean, you read these articles.
United
and
States
giggle,
of dick riding.
because it cannot be true that people really think that what they did to him, not once, not twice, I'm still counting 3, 4 times, but we're the ones that are weaponizing. So this man is not weaponizing the Department of Justice. We're not weaponizing the Department of Justice. It's the opposite. I mean, and also,
Dude. They're not even saying that like the Dems weaponized this, so we're doing it as well. They're just straight up saying they weaponized it against us, but we're not weaponizing it. Bro, Trump literally directed the previous attorney general to go after his political enemies. Okay? He couldn't find enough prosecutable, indictable evidence, right? So he fired the person, and then the next person with no fucking, significant experience in this field that came into office 4 days in, turned around and indicted half of the fucking people that he was demanding from Pam Bondi he was demanding Pam Bondi to indict.
Nice
Okay?
to anybody.
It's ridiculous.
It's to those criminals. Because they
Also-
are so good having to do with
Also,
all of
one of the
things
funniest
we're
parts about
talking
this is that,
today
like,
with,
does
violent
anyone,
crime. But if
does
anything,
anyone
I
even
think-
believe this? Like, I don't even think Trump's own supporters actually believe that this is, like, all of the indictments that are coming down right now are actually perfectly valid because these people are, like, rugged criminals or whatever. Okay? I don't think a single person believes this. I don't think Trump believes it. I don't think MAGA believes it. They do, really? I mean, I'd be shocked. I think they just, like, cynically act as though this is, like, totally valid, perfect, and appropriate. I think for the most part, they understand it's revenge. It's a revenge fantasy. It's a revenge fantasy, and I don't see this actually going through in any of the courts unless the courts are completely fucking servile to Donald Trump. And as it stands currently, not all the courts are completely servile to Donald Trump. We haven't gotten there yet.
Nothing. They write stories. Why aren't they doing this? And we'll leave. I don't have to leave it up to them, but I choose to at this moment at least.
Wrong, go on Roach King's
But there's
channel and you'll
never
see.
been anybody treated in the history of politics. You know, they say the 2 worst by the media, etc., was that man right there, the late, great Abraham Lincoln, and this guy right there, Andrew Jackson. They say Andrew Jackson was treated terribly. They give him number 1 and number 2, but that was before I came along, Newt. I say I have number 1 times 10.
Oh, my
Nobody's
God.
been treated like I've been treated. And I did a great job. You know, we had
Abraham
a great first
Lincoln
term.
treated so poorly by
And we
Hollywood.
had one of the most
So
successful
poorly.
economies in history.
An
etc. I
actor
rebuilt the
shot
military.
him
We
in
did a
the
tremendous
head.
amount.
As you know, they wanted to shoot me in the head. I dodged the bullet. I dodged the bullet.
And we handled
But
that
you know
well.
the media
We made
hated Abe.
ventilators
The
for
media
nations
hated
all
Honest
over
Abe.
the world. We did a great
They
job.
hated him so
Probably
much. A
never get
media
credit for it.
figure
Look at the
shot him in the
therapeutics,
head.
Regeneron, all the different
Not
things.
me,
the
though.
vaccines,
Skill
all the
diff.
things we did. We did a great job, but we had to focus
I
on
dodged
that.
it.
But we had the best economy in the history of our country. We're blowing it away right now. Look at the stock market. It hit another all-time high today. That's 48 days out of the few days that I've said. 48
Lincoln,
days
as I
have
like to
already
call
hit
it. Abraham
record highs.
Lincoln, like
And
the
we have, maybe
Abraham
most
deal.
importantly, the number we
The
have
Abraham
now, I would say
Accords.
17. It's over $18 trillion is being poured into our country. It's because of the election and because of tariffs. Without the tariffs, you wouldn't have probably 18 cents. It's because of the tariffs, because there are no tariffs if they build in our country, and they understand that. So we have medical companies coming up. We have the AI. We're dominating China in AI. Everybody said that's impossible. We're dominating. I'm letting these massive plants build their own electric generating plants. They're becoming utilities in addition to everything. Maybe they'll make more money with that. Who knows? But they're building their own electric because we have an old grid. You wouldn't be able to do that. And we're dominating China. We're dominating with AI, which seems to be the new big thing. That's the new internet. That's the new whatever. So we're very happy with the job we're doing. I'm very happy with the job they're doing. But when you tell me about attacking a political opponent, there's never been, and I'm a legitimate opponent. I watch my son. He's got the #1 best-selling book now. My son Eric, he's a wonderful kid. That guy spent so much time with subpoenas. He got more subpoenas than anybody in the history of our country. Think of it. And he's an innocent, good boy. He's a good kid. He's always been a good kid. All of my children are good. They went through hell. My children went through federal grand juries on a hoax.
Your kids are like 50. I don't understand. Whenever he talks about his children, he acts like they're 17, okay? We're not talking about Barron. Most of his children, they're good boys. They're good boys. I love them. They're like fucking 40 years old, man. They're dumb fuck fail
I
sons.
got a call from my son Don, and he said, Dad, I'm being accused of something with Russia. I don't know anything about Russia. He didn't know anything about it. Think of it, how bad they are. They say he'll go to prison for the rest of his life. He knew nothing about it. On a hoax, the Russian hoax, Russia hoax, on a story that they made up. And they made it up in order to explain why Hillary Clinton lost an election that she lost by pretty good numbers. The second one, actually the second one was even better, but the third one, this one was too big to rig. It was just too big to rig. They would have rigged it. They tried to rig it. But think of it. They want to send my children to jail, but they were after Don in particular. I'll never forget Adam Shifty Schiff, a total crooked guy, lying in Congress, making up a phone conversation that I have with you, totally made up. Then when he heard it was taped, he wanted to disappear. And Nancy Pelosi went crazy because they wanted to impeach me based on the conversation that was made up. When they heard the tape, everybody, I won it unanimously in the Republican Party. I got every single vote, something that never happens, and I beat it. But think of it, they want to put my son in jail for something that they made up. So they know they made it up. And they say he will serve the rest of his life in prison. These are sick, bad people. And don't tell me about us going after them. If anything, we've been very, very soft. I wouldn't be that soft, I'll tell you that. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's talk.
Thank you. I hate that. All right. Thank you, press. Can you explain what he means when he says we're beating China in AI? Brother, everything he's saying is just made up. What do you mean? If you try to make sense of what he's saying, if you take him at his word, if you take him as a sincere actor, you are going to be lost, okay? There's just not a single fucking thing that he has ever said that is truthful. That's not true. Sometimes he does have a tendency to say the quiet part out loud.